Hello, uh, this is a new German course for you where you can learn the German language with the direct method. I first want to tell you about the direct method, what it is and how it works, and then we'll do some vocabulary. So, what is the direct method? Um, So with this method, we're primarily focusing on speaking skills and listening comprehension, which means we're basically talking during class. Yeah, we're talking like 80% of the time. And most of the time, your teacher, so that's me, is going to speak quite fast, and by doing so you will be able to understand the language like a native speaking German. The lessons work in a very easy principle. I'll ask questions and you'll answer the questions. So basically, what I will do is I will first introduce a new vocabulary to you. So, for example, hallo, hello, hallo, hello. So you know what it sounds like, how to pronounce everything correctly. And once you remember the new words, you will then have to use them. So after I introduce the words to you, I will ask you a question using the new vocabulary, and I'll ask you very fast. All right, I will ask you twice, and after the second time you have the chance to answer. So I know this is quite hard since we're not in a classroom here, but I think it will work pretty well. So I will just ask the questions and you then have the chance to press pause or just wait until you hear my answer. Sometimes it might be hard for you to start the answer. So I will give you some hints, right? So I will show you how you should start the sentence and then you can go on. Yeah, so sometimes I will do that. And what's really important here is that you always have to answer full sentences. So there's no yes or no or just one or two word sentences. So we always want to have very long and full sentences. We want to basically squeeze all the German words out of you. Yeah. Let me just look at my hints here. Yeah. So what are the things that we are not going to do? So we're not going to practice grammar, right? We basically want to understand the grammar by using it, and if you have some questions about it, you can always ask, but I will not teach any grammar here on the table. We also won't do vocabulary lists, right? So the idea basically is I introduce the new vocabulary to you, you'll then use it, and in the next lesson we would repeat. Since this is a video course, I'm not going to do the repeat part of the lessons. You can do this by yourself by just watch the video again, right? And what we're also not going to do is reading. Of course, reading is important, but not in this type of class and not this type of lessons we're doing here on YouTube. But what we will do is, or what you will do is, you will learn probably quite fast. So the experience I had with my previous students was they either hated it or they just went, they had pretty good progress, I would say. I think the biggest trouble at the beginning is you will understand what I mean when we then start with the first vocabulary, is just to get speaking, right? So you just have to do the step and just start speaking. So, but I will force you to do that, okay? So I will help you a little bit to get the words out of you. And once you, once you've overcome this issue, speaking will not be a problem for you anymore. So I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you will join this course. So let's jump right into it. So let's start with some new words, new vocabulary. Remember, the way how this works is I will first introduce the new vocabulary to you. We'll do about 3 to 6 words at a time. I will first say the word in German, then translate it into English, and then you have the chance to repeat the German, only the German word, right? And then we'll do this again. I will say the German word, the English word, and then you repeat the German version. What's really important here is that you focus fully on correct pronunciation. Since we're not in a classroom here, I have no chance to correct you, so it's really your duty to focus on that. Once we've completed that, I will then ask the first question, and I will speak quite fast, because this is the only way to practice your listening comprehension. I will ask you twice, but at a higher pace, and then you have the chance to answer. Remember, when you answer, you always want to say full and long sentences. When you think you can answer, just maybe press pause and try. And then, and if you don't know how to answer, just go on with the video. Usually during class, I would give my students some hints, so I would maybe start a sentence or start with the first 2 words of the sentence. We can't do that here, so we'll have to deal with that, but I think it will still work. Is there anything I forgot? We'll start with introducing one another. So since I don't know what your name is, I would just call you Charlie, and my name is Franz. So let's start with the first word, and that's hallo. Hello. Now you. Hallo. Hello. And now you. The second word is ich heiße. My name is. Ich heiße. My name is. The third word, du heißt. Your name is. Du heißt. Your name is. And the last one, ja. Yes. Ja. Yes. So here comes the first question. Hallo, heißt du Charlie? Hallo, heißt du Charlie? Ja, ich heiße Charlie. Perfect. The second one. Heiße ich Franz? Heiße ich Franz? Ja, du heißt Franz. Perfect. The last one is hallo, ich heiße Franz. Heißt du Charlie? Hallo, ich heiße Franz. Heißt du Charlie? Hallo? Ja, ich heiße Charlie. So I guess you already had some kind of German practice. You already know how to ask a question or how to answer a question, although your vocabulary might not be as good as you want it to be. But I just want to make sure that you understand what I just did with the questions and the answers. How do we ask and how do we answer. So this is just for you to be able to go on with the next vocabulary. I just want to make sure that you know what we're doing here. So the easiest way to start a question is to start with the verb. So when you ask a question in the German language, you start with the verb, which is what I did. So I asked, heißt du Charlie? Hallo, heißt du Charlie? So this is the verb, which is at the beginning, and then the rest follows, right? And when we answer, the easiest way to answer a German sentence is by starting with the subject. The subject is always the one who's doing something in the sentence, and it's then followed by the verb. So what is the subject doing? That is the verb, which is the doing word. And the last thing then in the sentence would be the object, who is affected by what the subject is doing. So I just want to make sure that you know how questions and answers in the German language work. And yeah, this is the easiest form how to ask and how to answer. So let's go on with more vocabulary. The first one is wie heißt du? What's your name? Wie heißt du? What's your name? Repeat. Second one. Nein. No. Nein. No. Nicht. Not. Nicht. Not. The last one. Er heißt. His name is. Er heißt. His name is. Sie heißt. Her name is. Sie heißt. Her name is. Okay. The first question. Hallo, wie heißt du? Hallo, wie heißt du? Hallo, ich heiße Charlie. Wie heiße ich? Wie heiße ich? Du heißt Franz. Heiße ich Charlie? Heiße ich Charlie? Nein, du heißt nicht Charlie. Du heißt Franz. All right. Crucial part of the direct method is repetition. So whenever you practice or you learn, you want to repeat the vocabulary over and over and over again. So what I usually do with my students is we start new vocabulary, new material, and we'll repeat it to, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 times. And every time before we go on with new material, we will always repeat what we practiced in the previous lesson. So let's just do the questions again. You have the chance to try and answer. And what I always recommend to you is before you go on with the next video, repeat the previous video. Yeah. So the first question. Hallo, heißt du Charlie? Hallo, heißt du Charlie? Hallo? Ja, ich heiße Charlie. Heiße ich Franz? Heiße ich Franz? Ja, du heißt Franz. Hallo, ich heiße Franz. Heißt du Charlie? Hallo, ich heiße Franz. Heißt du Charlie? Hallo? Ja, ich heiße Charlie. Hallo, wie heißt du? Hallo, wie heißt du? Ich heiße Charlie. Wie heiße ich? Wie heiße ich? Du heißt Franz. Heiße ich Charlie? Heiße ich Charlie? Nein, du heißt nicht Charlie, du heißt Franz. Perfect. At the end of this first lesson, I want to give you a hint. When you practice new material, new vocabulary, try not to read and write the words, because your brain works differently when it tries to understand the words just by listening. And if you read a word, it's different for the brain to learn the new material. But we want to get used to, we basically want to accept that you sometimes only have the chance to learn a new word by just listening to it. So don't try to read and write, just try to listen and to speak. And when you think you're confident using the new vocabulary, you should then start writing and reading using these words in other situations.